Hey everyone, I'm Damian Holbrook from TV Guide Magazine, and I'm talking with Roberto Aguirre-Sacasa, Lindsay Calhoun-Bring, the co-creators of Pretty Little Liars Summer School, and Annabeth Gish, the wonderful Annabeth Gish.
I'm here to help in any way I can. We know Ace on death row. He cannot hurt you. I promise.
And you truly are, Annabeth, like picking up some serious horror cred.
Yeah.
Who knew? Who knew that
Right?
I had this trajectory? But I'm taking it. I love it.
I love it, and I love seeing Dr. Sullivan back in the thick of all of this, and like such a pivotal possible suspect, possible victim, possible, like this is a doctor that we know keeps secrets.
Yes.
Yeah, she likes to just, hide some things.
Well, and I believe this is true that most therapists become therapists because of their own trauma. So perhaps, Dr. Sullivan has her own, as we know from just surviving surviving Rosewood was traumatic for Dr. Sullivan.
For you and Lisa, both of you, basically, I mean, the first season was such a great spot on horror show. And now you basically are walking into having to do a sequel.
Yes.
And sequels are tough, as we know, but you pay a lot of homage to the sequels in the genre. How was it for you thinking, okay, how do we continue this story? How do we continue this legacy? I'm telling you, and this is not spoiling anything for the viewers. The first 6 minutes of this season are amazing. I was like, what is happening? What is happening? What is happening?
Thank you, Damien, and we do agree.
Yeah. It was incredible.
Oh, that's so fun. We, you know what? We do think about these seasons as horror movies. And so for us, season 2 is really part 2 of a horror movie. So kind of between seasons, we were really watching part 2 of every horror movie. And we did land on Summer School. We did land on kind of doing this time jump. But to your point about the opening 6 minutes, and I know, Roberto, we talked about this a lot. We wanted to pick right back up where we left off because we knew we had to start with a horror movie, an epic horror teaser, which was so fun, and it really kicks off all of the stories. And even from a just a visual standpoint, which I love so much, we had many conversations with our director, our DP, our crew about opening the season in the same aesthetic, the exact same way as our season 1. And then when we have that sort of epic, horror opening, when we do our time jump, it's a little Wizard of Oz. We change the color scheme of the show.
Right.
We bring in the color. We bring in heat. The girls have different looks. We even change the aspect ratio moving forward after that opening. So it was really kind of an amazing way to place our audience back where we left them, to have that familiarity, have it be very fun, very scary, very energetic, and then also introduce this brand new season and brand new world of Summer School.
Yeah. Where I feel like, again, we learned from the first season, nobody's safe. And nobody's safe from being a suspect. What I do absolutely just love about you getting the girls back together and then putting them in this therapy situation where they're forced to actually re-team. Because when we all met them, they weren't friends. They weren't close. Now they're all close, but this therapy thing actually unites them as like a true team. And it's so actually super responsible, because I've always wondered about shows where like characters go through something horrible and traumatic, and then there's never any kind of like aftercare for them. They're just expected to handle it. And this way, we're also seeing them process what they've been through, but also use what they've learned from it with Bloody Rose.
I hope you're not referring to Riverdale, Damien.
No, they were the ones inflicting the trauma on everyone else.
Never.
That was what you said is something that Lindsay and I was really at the front of our mind, which is we definitely wanted a fresh start and new villain, new kind of theme, new kind of feel, but we didn't want to pretend that the girls hadn't been terrorized by a guy chasing them with a knife. Especially, we really wanted to also have care with the sexual trauma that Imogen and Tabby had gone through. and also, and we you know we not to forget that Imogen lost her mother as well, and
As
Annabeth,
well
you
as
just
becoming
mentioned
a
it,
mother too.
that
Yeah.
became a
Yeah.
mother, but that thematic of like losing her mother, losing her child, that kind of led into the creation of like a female mother figure of horror. But making sure that we weren't pretending that stuff didn't happen and everything was fine.
Malia, I love where Mouse is going. I
Aw.
love the evolution. I love this relationship first, but I love that what they've done so well with these girls is growing them up, but connecting them even, because I love how we met them not really friendly, and how they've become first survivors, then friends, and now I was talking with Roberto about they're a team.
Yeah.
Now they're a team, they're a unit, and each of them support the others. So I love that, like your relationship with Ash is just like they're rooting for that as well.
Totally.
Yeah.
I what I love about the season, I mean, I don't want to pick favorites, but season two does have a really special place in my heart just because now that we've established all these relationships, we get to have a lot of fun. And Roberto and Lindsay like really supported that with the dialogue. Like, because friends, when they're together, they talk shit and they kind of like will call each other out. And I really enjoy getting to play with that dynamic. And the show is really hoppy and funny. And similarly with uh Ash and Mouse, like now that we've played the budding love, we've had the first kiss, now we can like have a little bit more fun
Yeah.
with each other.
Well, until, the bodies start dropping.
Right, of
Yeah.
course. That's
Now, Jordan, you have some amazing stuff at the pool, which is really cool. But you're filming outside all day long, right?
Yeah.
How problematic is that?
We're really well taken care of on set. So it wasn't too bad. And honestly, we shot this is to speak to the people who schedule our schedule, is like we shot all of the pool stuff in 1 week.
Oh,
So, we didn't have to like worry about it being cold because when we first got there it was March. So that would have been
freezing.
horrible.
yeah.
So yeah, we shot it all in 1 week, so it was a lot of fun. And then like, there's some other stuff that takes place at the pool in episode 6 that I'm really excited for people to check out. And the pool is like it's a fun spot this season. It's a
Yeah.
fun spot.
First of all, Mallory, I love your character. I've
Cute.
been rooting for her since season 1 because there was such kind of like a sadness, like almost like she just needed a friend.
I agree. She's a lonely little girl.
Yeah, yeah. And
Thank
she
you. I
wanted to
appreciate
do it. She
that.
wanted to be like part of the gang, and she just like was hindered by a really messy family situation.
Yeah.
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 So what can you tell me about what she gets into this season? Because it is very odd.
Yeah. So you're right. When we pick up with season 2, it's 6 months after the events of season 1, and she has been going to school online, so she's isolated herself from the girls. And so her mom gets her involved with this church, and she's skeptical at first, but she ends up really finding peace there in the sense of community. And so it's like her lifeline. It's the one thing she's got, and it's something that she can get validation from her mom through. And so I think she just really throws herself headfirst into it, makes Redemption House her purpose. And before sooner or later, she's gonna realize that the church does not have the best intentions, and hopefully
Just
it's
the
not too
fact
late.
that just Redemption House.
Yeah.
It's so great. It's so great.
We've been talking about, we had so much fun doing those scenes together.
Yeah, Elias, talk about Greg because again, kind of caught up in, and it's so interesting, like where these how these characters get involved in what they're in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think Greg doesn't really fully want to let go of Kelly just yet. Both of them kind of depend on each other a little bit. They don't always have the best outlets in terms of friends or family, and they've always kind of had each other. And so Greg tries to be a good boyfriend and you know, goes along and tries to accommodate. But as he starts to see that this might be a cult or there's just something fishy, he starts to pull away a little bit. But yeah, I think his eyes get opened and he starts to break free a little bit more.
Yeah. How would you describe your interaction with the liars? Because there's a bit of a separation between your storyline and how everything starts with them. When do we see that start to kind of collide?
Episode 6, truthfully. I mean, I get to hang out with them a little bit in episode 3, and I was just saying I love any day I get to be on set with all of them, because when I first started shooting those first 2 episodes, it was me and the girls a lot. And so it's always fun when I get to see Maya, Chandler, Malia, like I never see them. But episode 6, you'll have to tune in to see, is when our plots start to weave together.
For you guys, what has it been like getting to take them, because it's relatively short time in Millwood, but starting these characters as combative and very, very different, and now getting to play them as a really unified group of friends who care about each other.
Yeah.
It's so special.
It is.
I think also it's so symbolic of like the experience that we've all had as women and like as new friends, and like now we so can look at each other and understand one another. And I think the first season was spent with these girls trying to understand each other, and we were thrown into upstate New York on a whole new experience, not knowing if our show was going to be embraced or not, but wanting it so desperately to be. And so to have the chance to go back on a second season and to know these characters and to have sat with them and to have sat with each other, like, oh, so special, the amount of trust and just ease slipping back into these to these girls and getting to like spend so much of the episodes together. Was one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I have to say that it was really special because I felt like, personally for me, that Farron just was so unsure of herself, but she was finally sure of the camp that she was building. And that was new for her. So yeah, love a girl.
And Noah, because I still worry about Noah.
Yeah, we all
Don't
do.
we all? Don't we all? This poor girl, she's doing her best. I keep saying that, but she really is. I think she's, as we all are, or the characters all are.
We all are actually doing our best.
Yeah, we really are. But I think, I mean, there's so much truth and confusion. Life is so complex, and there's so many layers to making any decision, especially when it comes to your desire and being truth to that. And if you have to kind of deconstruct so many things that you thought to be true to find that happiness, it can be incredibly confusing. She's a teenager. They're all teenagers, and they've just endured crazy trauma.
Right.
So I think we have to give them leeway to make mistakes. And yes, unfortunately, they hurt people along the way. But it's a part of life, and that's how they grow, and that's how they slowly but surely are finding who they are and what they want.
You guys, thank you so much. Everyone, do not miss Pretty Little Liars Summer School Season 2. So good and bloody and scary and so much fun. You guys, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So good.
Bye.